choosing to go against what I believe about myself for your own...
Transphobia, light.
Yes. It's transphobia with less calories. Wow. All right. So anyway, you're right. It's kind of like... I'm gonna say it, and it's gonna be, people are gonna go, ooh, no, yes, It's kind of like racism.
Yeah.
There are the hardcore KKK types.
Are we allowed to say that?
Well, we just said 3 letters. But
the forbidden 3 letters.
But we're talking about the Black Panther Party. We're talking about the KKK. We're talking about all those horrible things that happened in the 60s.
Yeah.
And to the all those people that were down there that suffered through that.
Yeah.
That was very cut and dry racism.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were people who just kind of looked away and chose to ignore it, not because it was right or wrong, but because it was easier to ignore and they didn't want to get involved for fear of retaliation from people who were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still racism. Ignorance or a lack of, standing up it's not... Yeah,
hold on. No, we're not saying if you don't stand up for trans rights, that makes you transphobic. That's not what we're saying.
Right. But you're not part of the solution either.
Yeah.
So you're not part of the problem, but you're not part of the solution either.
You're just in the middle, and you're just kind of pushed aside.
And again, we're not saying that this gentleman is part of the problem. This gentleman that we were talking about, or his wife, because again, they are pillars of their community. They're phenomenal people. They're phenomenal people.
If I'm pretty sure I'm thinking with the same people you are.
I think.
Well, that was just mean.
That wasn't nice. Yeah.
Stop beating each other's faces.
I think we are, and we're pretty much on the same page when it comes to people. And like I said, I'm not saying that they're transphobic or anything, but in the same breath, we're here, we're queer, we're out to stay kind of mentality.
I came out of the closet. You're not pushing me back in there.
No, absolutely not, But and the thing of it is again, because they're people in their community and they're members of their community in the capacities that they are, they're going to see more and more of it. They're going to face more and more of it. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not compassion there. I understand completely. They're very much with, what works for one doesn't necessarily work for other, and I'm okay with that.
And I'm pretty sure you came to a compromise with the
wife. I did. She came to me at an event and said, hey, look, we just don't believe that. And I said, well, then let's just stick to nicknames.
Yeah.
Because your nickname
is fairly gender neutral.
It's gender neutral, and it always has been.
And thankfully you gave me a gender neutral nickname.
Well, it just happened to be your initials, so it's kind of okay.
Yeah.
It worked for football. It works now. And again, we talked about that transitional name, which, by the way, Leo finally picked his middle name, so we can actually go for the whole name thing now.
Which, by the way, we're going to have a talk about the middle name.
I already wrote it on all the legal paperwork,
you just pestered me about it.
I know.
And I don't know why.
Well, I did it because I needed to have one for the paperwork. But anyway.
People need middle names?
Yes, people need middle names.
Why? Side tangent for later. Anyways.
I don't have a bird tweet sound. Tweet. No crickets. Crap.
We'll talk about that later.
The dog's like, what is wrong with you guys?
He looks so tired.
He's comfortable. He's in the Papa Sun chair and he's out cold.
You know what? He's quiet.
I know. Anyway, so like I was saying, let's again redirect this a little bit because this isn't so much isn't misgendering as it is whether misgendering is, again, in one way, shape, or form. You said it's transphobic.
Yeah,
it is. If it's intentional.
Yeah, if it's intentional.
If I come to you and say, "Hey, look, I'm a guy," and you go, "That's okay, Mel."
Yeah,
it's intentional, and that is in and of itself transphobic.
And then I said, "Slip of the mouth."
Right.
Mouth.
Slip, yeah.
Words.
Those like things that say the tongue.
The flappy ones.
The flappy ones. Okay.
More recently, actually, I had a teacher accidentally call me by my dead name.
Okay.
And immediately afterwards, because it was not a Zoom call, it was over Google Meets, he immediately emailed me, I don't know if you caught it, but I am so sorry I said your dead name. And I was like, it's alright, please don't do it again. Me and my friend both caught it.
And see, the thing of it is, and the good thing about that, again, with a slip of the tongue or a slip of the mouth, however you want to say it, he caught himself and corrected himself. And people and that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a she for 40 years. I don't expect people to switch like that. It's not going to happen. I don't switch like that. I still misgender myself sometimes. It's especially hard when, it's not legal. So you go to the doctor's office, you go to the hospital, you go to the bank, and you still have to present that card with that dead name on it.
Yeah.
In addition, again, with you, it's the same issue. Like if I go to the pharmacy, I can't say, hey, I need Leo's script. They don't recognize it. I have to use the name that's on the insurance.
Yeah.
Which is your dead name.
Yeah.
And that drives me nuts. And that I can understand where that kind of leads into, like, confusion. Because unless the person knows and intentionally, I have a good friend where I donate plasma, because that's what I do. I donate plasma. And he makes an effort every single time he sees me. Hey, Gabe, what's up? Hey, Gabe, how's it going?
Yeah.
And he knows full well that no one else in that facility recognizes me as Gabe. In fact, I've actually had transphobic behavior in that facility. And I've called it out on it, and the person still works there, but whatever. I know. There are plenty of other donation places in the world. Don't lean on that mic. Stop playing with your microphone.
Make me. What are you going to do, ground me?
Take it away. Anyway, he makes an effort to it. He strives to make an effort to it.
Yeah.
I heard once, there was and it was a story about a young lady who was, her child had just come out as transgender. And she was listening, she was in a restaurant or what have you, having coffee or dinner or what have you, and she was listening to these kids talk about their friend who was transgender. And she thought that they were going to be derogatory. She thought that they were going to make fun of the friend because the friend wasn't there.
Yeah.
It turned out that they were actually referring to their friend in their preferred name by their preferred pronouns. They were actually practicing without the friend there so that they could help themselves be better prepared for when the friend was there.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
That is really great for friends to do.
Yes. I caught a coworker on Friday. I think it was coworker on Friday. Call me Miss. And now this coworker's on Facebook with me, knows full well.
Yeah.
Still chose to call me Miss. As much as I thought about it, and I did think, I wanted to go, because I do it with my students. They'll call me Miss, and I'll look at them and go, sorry, who?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about? Well, there's no Miss in this room. And then they'll correct themselves. Or I just look at them. I still have that perfect parental look. That gaze that every mother has.
It is just terrifying.
It is. And I love it. And I just look over at them and they're like, oh, my bad, Mr. Powers. My bad, Mr. Yeah, sorry, sir. They do correct themselves. I can't get a staff member to correct themselves to save their lives.
We also work. Where I coworkers also thought the vaccine was going to make his balls fall off.
Yeah, we had that debate the other day too. That employee, by the way, did catch COVID, and his bits and pieces are all still intact, and we'll just leave it at that. He is a diehard right winger, and we're just going to leave it at that, even if they are little chicken wings. So anyway,
and people purposely and then accidentally. I've had teachers for I think it was the Keystone, not the Keystones. It might have been the Keystones.
Okay.
It was one of those mandatory testings that we had to do online.
Yeah.
One of my teachers handed me the note with the username and password. Looked at the note, looked back up at me, said, "Hold on, I'll be right back." Went to her desk, scribbled off my name and wrote my correct name. Handed the note back to me.
Yeah.
Because the note still had my dead name on it.
Right. So, and here's a lot of people don't realize this. In society, we have we have been using gender-neutral terminology for quite some time.
Yes.
We no longer have firemen. We have firefighters. We don't have policemen and policewomen. We have police officers.
Yeah.
We don't even have postmen anymore. Or mailmen. We just have postal workers. You know?
I did not know about the postal workers.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. So we've been using these gender neutral terms, and at first it was gender neutral because it was an all male. Almost smacked the mic.
You did smack the mic.
I did smack the mic. It was an all male kind of career field, and then women started to creep in, and you know nobody wanted to go male man, male woman, male this, male that, whatever.
Yeah.
Up, down, left, right. So they just got lazy in person.
Yeah.
And like I said, firefighter, and police officer. But the thing of it is that misgendering, really messes with the psyche.
Yeah, it does.
So, when you get misgendered, and you haven't had this issue too terribly much because you present very well.
Oh, thank you.
I not a problem.
I had a few friends think I was actually cis for a while. Because I completely forgot to tell them that I was trans.
A cisgender male?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, wait, you're trans? That's cool. But you're a man. Please stay away from me.
So, like I said, when you do get misgendered, whether it's by a friend, somebody who forgot, somebody who didn't forget,
a family member,
how do you handle it? How do you react?
It honestly depends on when I wake up or how awake I am. Because remember the one time.
Leo doesn't. All right, Leo is not a morning person.
I am not.
And if I wake Leo up in the morning and he growls at me, I know full well it is not a people day.
It hasn't been a people day in a while.
Yeah, you better get used to that. You go back to the classroom on Tuesday.
It's gonna be so much fun.
All right. Anyway.
So I tend to avoid people in the morning.
Right.
And I got a call from a family member.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those not people mornings.
Yeah.
And I had woken up to this phone call.
Mm-hmm.
So I hadn't taken a shower, I hadn't had caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was very aggressive. And
keep going.
Very just not in the mood to deal with what they were saying.
Yeah.
And so most of the time when people misgender me or misgender my friends, I am very aggressive of like, hey, that's not good. You need to stop saying that now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you growl one more time...
Excuse me. Focus on this, please.
If someone, again, like misgenders me, or misgenders someone that I know doesn't like that, I am very immediately straight towards aggression.
Right. Yeah.
And that is just my immediate reaction.
Okay.
And you've seen this because you got mad at me after that phone call.
Mm-hmm. I did. Yeah, that caused quite a bit of a debacle.
It did.
I personally, when I get misgendered, I'm generally pretty laid back about it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's, like, again, if it's somebody who has been informed, and they make the mistake, they will. They'll either get a look, or I'll go, who, or I'm sorry, did I hear that, or who are you talking to? What we would call passive-aggressive.
Yeah. I am not passive-aggressive.
You are not passive-aggressive. And it's funny, too, because you are by far the most laid-back, non-confrontational individual I've ever met. Which is, again, coming from a kid who played football to, no, I don't want to go outside because I don't want to see people.
Mm-hmm. People are disgusting. I hate people.
But, wow, okay. But you can't say that. You have people who listen to you.
I said what I said, and I don't regret it.
Okay. But the thing of it is that, when, like I said, when a person misgenders you intentionally, it kind of changes it. Like, I had a student who misgendered me intentionally. And he had, the reason he was doing it was for, it wasn't homophobic, but he had some delusions of something.
And we're just going to end that there. He crazy man.
And so in his mind, the way it was in his mind, if I was still a woman, then then it was completely okay.